Hello and welcome everyone, hope you're doing great. Today we're going to start talking about the Project Browser tab. Guys, up to this point we used this tab so many times for so many different purposes. But in order to learn everything about it completely, there are some points that we need to discuss. First and foremost guys, if this tab was closed for you, you can enter the View tab. Then from the Windows panel, select or open up User Interface. And then in here, activate Project Browser. Also guys, we are able to specify shortcuts for this. For doing so, again we need to enter the same segment, User Interface, and then in the slash select Keyboard Shortcuts. Now look up Project Browser in the search box here, select it, and then down here specify the keys that you want to use for your shortcut. For example, PB. Sign. Okay, PB is being used for MEP fabrication, so let's go with BB, double B. Assign again. Alright, now if you use the shortcut double B, Project Browser window would be opened. By the way guys, in the newest versions of the software, you would find the Project Browser window up here as a separate tab. It has 8 segments. Number 1, all containing all the items that you have in a project, like, for example, views, families, links, schedules, and basically everything. The second segment would only give you the views, and by views I mean plans, elevation views, sections, and so on. In the third segment, we would be able to check the legends, well, actually, if we have any in a project, because if we don't create one, this part would be empty, alright? And the fourth segment will get the schedules. I mean, during your work, if you go to your View tab and try creating a schedule, it'll be added here, and if you create a legend, it'll be added to the last segment. And by the way, if you use the items that you have in this panel, like items such as 3D, levels, elevation, drafting, and so on, it'll be added to the second segment. In the fifth segment, we would be able to check the sheets. Well, you can use the sheet composition panel for creating the sheets, and you can find them in this segment. Alright, in the next segment, we have all the families. Guys, here you would find all the families that you would use, that you would load actually into a project, and it doesn't really matter which method you are actually using for loading them. Now, this doesn't mean that you would only find the loadable families here, though. I mean, here we would also find the system families as well. Segment number 7 would display the groups. I mean, obviously, all the groups that you would create in your current project. Okay? And at the end, in the last segment, you would find all the linked files. Now, to be more precise though, all the linked files with either Revit or IFC format. Now, if you want to check other linked files with other formats actually, like DWG, image, PDF, and so on, you need to enter this tab, Manage Links, because they would be added here. But other formats like IFC or Revit, you would find them in your project browser. Alright, so basically these were all the general segments that you would find in a project browser. Now, there are also these 3 additional segments, well, dynamic segments if you will. Let's see what they are. First, Panel Schedules. Now, first off, if you go to your Manage tab up here, you would find the Panel Schedule item. Now, just as an example, I'm going to add this Panel Schedule template. Okay. Now, back to the project browser. Do a right-click. Collapse all. Okay, you know what? Let's actually try doing this with our Revit sample file. I'm going to open up an electrical project for our example. So, open. Now, let's try this again. Right-click. Collapse all. And now, as you can see, this panel schedule has been added here. So this is what I meant by saying these are dynamic segments. They won't be here not until you actually add or create some in your project. The next segment would be for the assemblies. Alright, so let me try giving you a demonstration. I'm going to select some of these elements and up here, click on Create Assembly. And when we're done doing that, the assembly segment would be added here. Alright, the next dynamic segment would be the report segment. First off, for creating reports, you need to enter the Analysis tab, and your report could be, for example, for your panel schedules, or it could be a report on your docks or the piping system. And basically, when you create one, it'll be added here in the project browser. So again, guys, in our Project Browser tab, we have all of these 8 main or general segments and also 3 dynamic segments. Panel schedules used in electrical disciplines and reports, which, as I said, they could be, for example, on the ducts, on the pipes, and so on, or even you might have some analytic reports. And the last dynamic segment would be for displaying the assemblies. And yeah, basically these would be all the tabs and segments that you would find in a project browser, and you can use them based on what you need. As our next point, guys, if you move the cursor on each of these items and do a right click, you would be able to collapse it by using collapse selected. Or again, you can expand them all or just expand the selected item. And as you can see, when we do this, the rest of the items, the rest of the segments would remain intact. But if we clicked on expand all of these items here would have been affected. And then again, we can use collapse selected to just close down this one, or we can use collapse all to close all of them. I'm just going to collapse this one. Also, guys, if we hold the control key on the keyboard and then use the mouse scroller, we would be able to zoom in or zoom out on the items and segments that we have in our project browser.